Alright, before we get into these top 20 ideas, I'd just like to say that the donation button below does work. I've been asking for people to test it for a little while now. Thank you to Rect for testing it with a $5 donation, asking does it work, and yes, it does work. Thank you, I appreciate that. I will feel a lot more less insecure, a lot more secure knowing that the button actually works. So thank you for that, and for the rest of you, I won't mention the link again till the next time that somebody donates so that they can get recognition for donation and I can read out their donation message. So to paraphrase from a very wise man that I've heard of named Paul Danino, it's not that you're taking free money from your viewers, it's that you're selling recognition to them. So if you'd like to buy some recognition, link below and you will be recognized. Next video. Top 20 Deadman Mode changes. These are the changes for permanent Deadman Mode that I personally would like to see. This is a very opinionated top 20 list, and there are some very controversial numbers to go over on this list. As for background footage, I'll just be flashing up what number we're on, going from 20 to 1 here, and it's just going to be some random gameplay footage from the past week since I've been back from Deadman on my Ironman. So at least it's recent footage, it's not washed up, reused footage. As for why I'm making this video, I want to bring Perm Deadman to people's minds a little bit because it's been kind of a dying game. There's less than 100 people on it at any given time, and it's really separated itself from the main game. In fact, I think we can all agree it is, for all intents and purposes, its own server, its own separate version of the game. Like, it may be in the world list, but let's face it, it's basically a private server that you can access through the RuneScape client. Holy shit, I didn't think that intro was that long. We're about to hit 2 minutes. Alright, let's jump right into this. I gotta go make some number cards. Number 20. Or actually, number 1. This idea I call the Day of Peace. I think there should be a day in permanent Deadman mode opposite to the Purge where there is peace for a day. And I think this day should occur maybe once a year to 4 times a year, and I think it should correspond with the Deadman tournaments. Like right after the final hour or right after seasonal closes, actually, when it's the off season, would be a great time to instill the Day of Peace, maybe a double Day of Peace, you know, a 48-hour period or just a 24-hour period where there is no PvP. And I think that would bring a lot of people into the game because they'd be able to do all those risky things that they're not normally able to do, like lava dragons and whatnot, and do these risky things and get this really good loot and put it into the Deadman economy, the one that's non-existent, and be able to lose those items when they get PK'd as well the next day when the Day of Peace is over and it's back to regular Deadman rules. So I think a Day of Peace, each time it happened, would boost player population at least temporarily and put some items in the economy in order to maintain that boost in population for a little while. Now, number 2, the second big idea, is some viable safe box slots from the financial wizard. Maybe just the one over at the GE can be the head one that sells them, or Nigel or someone who also sells the life insurance. But I was thinking around 5 slots would be good to have. One can cost, you know, 1K for the 11th one, and then 10K, 100K, 1 mil, and 10 mil respectively for up to 5 more slots. I doubt very many people are going to get the last 2, but I think it'd be a nice little cash sink for the game, and if you're up in the 10 mil range, then you deserve to protect another item, in my opinion. Because let's face it, a max set is a little bit more than 10 items, and plus you might want to save like a Zenite or a rare drop that you can't sell for later. So I think that's fair to have a few extra bank spaces that you can buy in your safety deposit box that you can pay for with an exponential progression from 1K up to 10 mil. I think that'd be fair. Now for number 3, Rev Caves. Why is it different? Let's put the normal Rev Cave loot from the Revenants in World 45 Deadman. It's okay. We have lava dragons. We have raids. Just give us everything. Why not? Let us get the normal loot. Keep it in line with the normal servers. And the reason for that is because Deadman Mode needs more OP loot, and Rev Caves gives OP loot, so why take it away? I don't get that. I think Rev Caves and the OP loot that it has to offer would help the game quite a bit. Alright, coming in with the most controversial one yet. Number 4. The addition of microtransaction to permanent Deadman mode, no troll. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with this because most of the community, especially in 07scape, really despises microtransactions. But hear me out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Deadman mode might as well be a private server for all intents and purposes because of how separate it is from the main game. The only thing it has in common is membership and the fact that bonds are connected. And they already made it so that swapping's not a thing. You're not allowed to swap between Deadman and regular Old School anymore. So if that was more enforced and Deadman really contained itself as its own separate server, then I think microtransactions could work to make Deadman mode a awesome game mode. And I'm talking like have brutal weapons, or not brutal weapons, but corrupted weapons available for like $1 for a dragon scimitar, or you get like rune coins and a dragon pay like $10, you get 100 rune coins, and you can buy a VLS with that, a corrupted one, of course. All the corrupted shit should eventually degrade and turn to cash on death. And maybe even include bounty hunter stuff for rune coins, like the stuff that was in the shop from seasonals. Maybe some shark too, ammo, brews, supplies, resources. Maybe not skilling materials. I don't think you should be able to buy like a shitload of tanned cow leather. I don't think that should be in the microtransaction shop. I think that would be crossing the line to unfair. But I think being able to buy corrupted armors and weapons that eventually degrade over time and or turn to cash on death would be very beneficial to the game. Because somebody might be able to go and buy a corrupted VLS and then buy 200 shark with their rune coins and a bunch of potions, but then if that person's inexperienced, yeah, let them buy all that stuff, because they're just going to go out and risk it, and somebody who is experienced and knows the game is going to take that from them, thus putting more items and more players into the economy and into the game mode, while also keeping microtransactions out of the main 07 servers, because if JJX needs money, they can pull it from Deadman. If people pay microtransactions and pay for their gains and their weapons and whatnot over in Deadman mode, then that lowers the incentive for them to try and force it into Old School, our servers, where we don't want microtransactions. Because keep in mind, Deadman mode is separate, and people get nervous about them adding microtransactions to the main game and whatnot. But I say, hey, go ahead and put it in Deadman mode. That might just be exactly what that game needs to liven it up. And plus, wealth in Deadman is so transient and it just comes and goes so fast that I think microtransactions could work in that game. The reason why they don't work in regular Old School is because a lot of times that wealth and items and whatnot, that equates to XP and your ability to progress and compete on the high scores and have a competitive nature in the game. It kills the competition in the regular old school server. However, Deadman mode is a lot more sandboxy, kind of a screw around mode. I don't see a problem with microtransactions in Deadman mode, especially if it's just for degradable gear, potions, and armor, you know, setup supplies and whatnot. So, under the premise that it could keep microtransactions out of normal old school and also liven up the Deadman mode server, what do you guys think about adding microtransactions in the form of maybe instead of blood money being a drop from players, maybe you can buy some blood money and have a blood money shop in the game that you can buy stuff from? I think that could be the currency for it too, the blood money, because you could even win that from players as well, and it would have a use. So it'd be not only microtransactionable, but you wouldn't need to get it solely through microtransactions to get these items as well. It could be like Nigel's shop, or it could be an extension of the bounty hunter shop. I think it should be in a safe zone though, personally, because if people are gonna, you know, pay real money for it, let them at least buy the stuff from Nigel in a place where they can be safe buying it, and then let them go out and risk it and let somebody else who's pro have it after they get wrecked for bank and maybe sell some and put some stuff in the economy. You know, I only see good things from this. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about Deadman mode microtransactions down in the comments below, and feel free to hate on me if you disagree. I don't care. I know the general consensus. Go for it. Now, number 5, coming down from that really controversial one with 4 there, is just a small quality of life update in which allows Nigel, the guy who sells the life insurance over in Lumber's Graveyard, to also change your spellbook for you once per day, provided that you have the requirements to have that spellbook unlocked, i.e. completing Desert Treasure or having the Arceus Favor, etc., or Lunar Diplomacy quest. I don't really know why I need an etc. there, it's only a list of 3. But yeah, it'd be a nice little quality of life update that would probably take down the sketchiness of changing your spellbook, because think about it, in Deadman mode, you gotta go into multi for any of the spell books except for Arceus, and that's really annoying because that's just, you know, the chance to get hit by a clan that just happens to be waiting there camping for somebody to go through multi, and then you die and you lose your bank, and you know, then you quit. You know, I mean, why not just let Nigel do it once per day? It's not really that big of a deal to not have to get lured into multi just to be on the right spell book, you know. That's my thought on that. I think it'd be a good change. Moving on. Number 6, another simple quality of life one. 10 times all shop stocks. That includes random shops. I know they did this with the rune shops in the safe zones and whatnot, but buying cosmic ruins from major arena banks still blows, and you're risking it hardcore there. It'd be a lot nicer if that had 200 cosmics in it instead of 20, along with like the blast furnace shop for buying gold ore and things of that nature, because a lot of these resources just aren't in the economy, and it'd be a lot easier if the shops that normally supply them, especially in a server where there's only one world and you can't hop, it'd be nice if the shops had those resources available in a quantity that was usable. Next up, I'm a little bit prejudiced or biased on this one, simply because this is what took me out of seasonals, going for that Kandarin task where you need to do the Penance Queen. I think this would make it a lot more fair to solo players to remove the Barbarian Assault minigame Nobody uses the fighter torso or the penance hat in Deadman mode. It's dead content. The only people who play Barbarian Assault in Deadman mode are playing it for the Kandarin task in order to get extra bolt specs. It's already hard enough to get the 75 smithing requirement for that task. It's near impossible if you throw in going into a lobby where you need to tell 5 other people that you're going there, or 4 other people including yourself, and trust all those people not to rat you out, because if you get ratted out, then there's going to be a clan there and you're screwed, because there's not much you can do with no food and no potions, which you are not allowed to bring with you in that Barbarian Assault lobby. I think that Kandarin task would be a whole lot smoother if this minigame simply was not a thing in the game mode, and it doesn't make sense for it to be a thing, because just like Void, nobody uses the stuff from it, and same argument for why Void isn't in Deadman, for why Barbarian Assault shouldn't be in Deadman. Those diary tasks could be removed or replaced with something else, maybe a different skill level requirement, maybe a super high fletching level. I don't know, but the Barbarian Assault thing for the Kandarin tasks in Deadman just simply isn't working, and all the other equipment from that minigame is primarily unused for the most part in the actual game mode. Therefore, I think it ought to be removed. Alright, coming in with number 8, just an easy quality of life one. Autocomplete this favor in Permanent Deadman as is done in seasonals. That could just be coded in really easy, and I think everyone would appreciate that. It opened up the map quite a bit, and not very many people are going to go out of their way to actually complete that, but people might use the content if it is auto-completed already. So same argument for having it auto-complete in seasonals, which it is. Alright, number 9 is kind of a weird one, but it's for solo players. When you are mining at the Motherlode mine, it is kind of difficult to mine and bank. I think the minigame needs reworked a little bit for Deadman mode, and only in Deadman mode. I think that when you deposit the ore in the trough and it collects it at the little collection bin at the end, instead of having to take the ores out and bank those, I think that in Deadman mode you should be able to just send those to the bank from that little cart automatically, because you've already got to be short inventory space to deal with the pay dirt. That'll cut the running around in half down there, and I think it'd make mining a little bit more viable in permanent Deadman mode, especially since one of the Falador tasks requires getting full prospect. And then for idea number 10, I got one that I don't think very many people will want to complain about at all. Add the looting bag, like from seasonals, and have it be able to be used everywhere worldwide as it was last seasonals. That was awesome having that. That made gathering things a lot easier. That made doing Slayer tasks actually profitable, and you don't have to sit and watch valuable items that you may want to keep just disappear on the ground, because you've got to keep a full inventory of food on you in order to defend yourself from PKers. So I don't think there's anyone who doesn't want the looting bag in permanent Deadman mode to work like it did last season. I think everybody kind of wants that without question. Now for number 11, probably not a lot of people know that the underwater area where you grow giant seaweed is inaccessible on Deadman mode. I think this area should be accessible because the RFD subquest where you go underwater is accessible, and it's not really a big deal the stuff you get down there. Just add like a little timer on the boat like you do on the house portal before you can go down there, since you can't be in combat while you're swimming or whatever. So it's sort of like going into your player-owned house. You're going into an instance, more or less, only it's not an actual instance. So yeah, I think that should be added. It'd be viable for crafting, and it'd open up a new area of the map, and it'd make those seaweed spores kind of useful. And idea number 12, taking more stuff from the seasonals, the rare tables, the low potion supply tables, and the tier emblem, 5 emblem tables, and all of that. Add that stuff to seasonals. Everyone loved that. I didn't see any complaints with that. The bounty hunter shop kind of crashed the price of potions, which is why I think that the potions should be primarily from blood money if there is microtransactions added, and you can buy blood money with IRL money and then use the shop to buy Deadman potions and whatnot, and then add the other drop table to seasonals with the rare, you know, 4 tuna and 5 unfinished prayer potions, Renard potions, and all that good stuff that was in the other table. The 12 mana rays were nice, the occasional 10 brews if you were really lucky. Yeah, I think Perm Deadman deserves to have stuff like that too. Alright, another nifty little one here with idea number 13 is to add an additional table for all boss monsters in the game. Now this is different than the seasonal tables. I'm talking like, you know that extra rare table with the third age and shit on it from last season? Maybe add that table to just the bosses in Perm Deadman. Just an idea. Alright, number 14, in the spirit of getting more and more loot for both us and our potential victims of Deadman Mode, how about we get 3 times the loot from all clue scroll caskets? That's 3 more rolls. So if you open a medium clue, you open 3 medium clues at once, basically. I think this will add a lot more loot to the game, make doing clue scrolls a lot more incentivized, because hey, if you get 3 loots at a time, that makes the drop rate of ranger boots a lot more common, and they're already not really all that rare to begin with. It's just that nobody wants to grind out all those medium clues to get there. And I think that'll make God pages more viable, and you may even see those having a play in the game instead of just having those be auto unlocked like they are in seasonals. I think a better way to go about that would be buffing clues. And idea number 15, going along the same trend here of having plenty of loot to spend and loot to steal from your victim, increase the amount of all coin drops by 3x. Those little chaos druids that normally drop 22 coins, let them drop 66. Help you get your starter stuff early on. A couple things from the GE, easier iron newts and vials for leveling up, and then the Kurasks that drop 10k. I was thinking before, I've recommended 10x coin drops, but that'd be a little OP because that 10k would be 100k, but I think 3x would be okay. 30k from a Kurask, then you don't have to stay there as long and camp out. It makes the game pace a little bit faster. You can go there, get your loot, get done sooner, get your gear, go PK, and enjoy what the game mode's about. Makes it more sandboxy that way, and puts more money into the economy. The economy tends to dry up in Deadman in a lot of ways, both in terms of resources being taken out of the game and gold being taken out of the game on almost a constant level. So I think increasing just the general drop rate of coins per creature would be beneficial to the mode, and also make it more interesting and incentivize people to go out and kill these random things that have decent coin drops. And speaking of incentivizing people with rewards, let's double the amount of Slayer points you get per task. I think that'll encourage people to go and unlock things, and especially for Wilderness Slayer, because that'll be 50 points per task after their 5th task. I mean, granted, people will be filling their block lists if they do the quest and skipping a lot of tasks, but I think that'll make the game run a little bit more smoothly to be able to unlock things and get your broad bolts and ammo and whatnot from Slayer. And while we're buffing stuff, might as well buff everything and increase crops, sort of like how it was done with fishing, only I think 2x will be plenty because herbs are a thing, and that would also stack with secateurs and whatnot. I think any more than 2x might be a little more on the OP side, maybe even lean towards 1.5x, but I think crops need a buff in Deadman Mode. Another thing I think would be super cool, along with having the normal Revenant drops reinstated, I think it would be cool if there were also worldwide wandering revs that just wandered around like Bob the Jagex cat and just aggroed anyone they saw and had the same drops as they do in the Rev Caves. And also, if they enter a safe zone, I think the guard should pile the Rev and own it, and the drop should be visible to everyone around or whoever did most damage if somebody decides to get a hit in or two on the Rev. I'm sure there'll probably be some people trying to lure the Revs into the safe zone at their own risk, but hey, maybe these Revs should be a little more powerful, have the ability to barrage you and crazy stuff like that, and then there'll be a little more risk to it, some reward to it, and just something to make the game more interesting and different in general so that people will want to come over to it and experiment with the mechanics of it, because curiosity will bring players, especially if there's rare loot involved. And number 19, getting close to the end here, another copy paste from Seasonal, add all the rare drops from Barrows to Perm Deadman. I'm talking about the brews, I'm talking about the random drops from the brothers, the food drops, all that stuff. That made Barrows very interesting in Seasonals and very enjoyable. Along with that, you could also do a weekly basis double loot thing and just cycle that through, or maybe a seasonal basis loot thing, like one season there's double loot from Revs, and then one season there's double loot from Wildy bosses and Barrows and God Wars, and recycle. Repeat it again. And I think that would be cool to have, a cool incorporation from seasonals to incorporate into perm, and then that'll make different aspects of the game alive at different times of the year. So there's an idea there. And coming in with the last one, number 20. There's a little thing in the game called game integrity that seems to have been neglected as the game mode has died, and I think if there needs to be a revive, there also needs to be a big integrity check and check for mules and various rules, find out who's been DDoSing people, ban those accounts. You know, just do an integrity clean out, botting clean out, a mule clean out, and let's clean up some of the, dishonor, the serious dishonor that's been going on in World 45 Deadman. And by serious dishonor, I mean just, the rule breaking stuff. I don't really care about clan man mode and swap man mode and all that, although if they did make swapping a bannable offense, and they should take action on that and not tell everybody not to do it or you'll get banned, and then let a select few people get away with that. I think, if it's going to be a rule, it should be a rule. Otherwise, make it not a rule again. Easy as that. And if these rules are out there, they should be enforced. You know, there's a lot of people who mule in Deadman. People tell me about it all the time. Don't worry, I'm not going to expose any names or anything. But, you know, I think these integrity rules should be enforced, and it seems like they've been neglected as of lately when it comes to the permanent Deadman Mode servers. At any rate, we are just under half an hour into the video. I think that's all I really have to say for the top 20 Deadman Mode changes that I recommend. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these changes. Let me know your favorite. Hell, let me know your favorite 5 changes and your least favorite 5 changes. There's a homework assignment for you all. And yeah, let's get some comments bumping in the comments section. Also, thank you again for Rect, who tested the donation link. It does work. That would be the Streamlabs link down in the description at the bottom for those of you who want to support the channel. And if you can't afford to donate, that's chill too. Likes and subscriptions are always welcome and always much appreciated, and free at that. So the whole thing with the donation thing is if you leave a donation message next video at the start of it, I will pay recognition to that and read out your donation message. Other than that, hope you guys enjoy your day. Let me know what you think about these Deadman ideas, and add some of your own too to the comment section if you want. Let's get this video noticed by JJX and see if we can do something with permanent Deadman Mode, because there's not even 100 people on at any time. I mean, this game is so huge. There's like, what, 50k online at any given time? And now that mobile's out, I think Deadman Mode can really be something. If the right changes are into it, it just needs to be a lot more sandboxy so that it doesn't penalize you so much when you die, or that so you can rebuild, or even just microtransaction a rebuild and just buy blood money and go to Nigel's blood money shop and buy a bunch of corrupted weapons and whatnot to go and get yourself some real weapons and armor and go advance in the game mode and have fun and whatnot, or even just PK in the corrupted crap. I think that would be just bring life to the game to have people going around and PKing in a private server like Sandbox, like Deadman World. Plus with the buffed XP rates and all that, and all these other changes, I don't know, I think it'd be interesting. Even just to incorporate these changes, I think would bring a large boost of players into the game mode and just boost the numbers for a little while, and everybody would be having fun with it until something happened, and then, you know, there'd be another person like me making another top 20 changes video, and then if we have to add more changes, so be it. You know, I mean, it's a game, let's make it fun. Well, that's all I got, guys. Peace for now, and I will see you soon with some Iron Man progress. It's going to take a while to get all the planks I need for construction. I'm in the process of rune crafting them right now, as you saw here. I need somewhere between 60,000 mahogany planks and 200,000 oak planks, so I need somewhere between 60 and 200,000 nature runes, along with somewhere between 120,000 to 400,000 astral runes in order to plank make all of those. So I'm going to go for the max amount of rune crafting and grab those runes. I'm going to run out eventually. The plan is to, after I run out, kill some gargoyles to get a good decent portion of rune essence and also gold ore for smithing later. And then after I get bored of gargoyles, I'm going to go over to Zulra and get some essence from her. In case you guys are wondering what's going on with the progress videos. But enough of that. This is the Deadman Top 20 changes that I have on my wish list for changes to permanent Deadman Mode. I hope you guys agree with some of them, found some of them at least interesting, and yeah, enjoy your day, enjoy your game mode, whichever one you play, and peace.